Hello, today's message is going to be about money laundering in Wachovia Bank primarily, but I also want to say I'm not only a financial auditor and investigator, I'm also a medical auditor and investigator. I tend to bend the two sciences. That's my trick in life. I should have majored in law and learned how to make money. This is about Wachovia Bank and how the American people got ripped off big time, or something's going on big time that's not right. I read recently that Wachovia Bank was the largest money launderer in the United States. The only person who caught this, per record, was a man in London who was by the name of Martin Woods. I'd like to thank Martin Woods for his work. He now has a company titled Hermes Forensic Solutions Limited in London. He investigates money laundering and such. I want to thank him for his diligent work. There's been many men killed. Like I said, I also investigate medical crimes. I uncovered medical crimes at Los Angeles VA Medical Center Westwood. I uncovered medical crimes at Flagstaff Medical Center in Arizona. You can read about this at Mobile Audit Club website. This is to those men who were killed in Los Angeles in experiments in which they were hard experiments in 1999. I was tortured there in 2001 and forced to sign some documents. I should have run when I could have. I was injected forcibly in 2001 there, and these other men were killed in 1999. These are men who served in the United States military. They went to the VA, to the health center to get health care, and ended up as guinea pigs and being killed. Medical experiments. It was probably for the profit of some of those who were running that hospital at the time. Everything for sale here in the United States, even these men. I pray that one of them would come out and help me in this struggle. I will proceed on now to talk about financial problems in the United States, in particular the Bank of Wachovia Bank was the largest. Wachovia Bank was the largest. Here they go. So Wachovia Bank was the largest money launderer in the history of the United States. They were working with a cross-border firm in Mexico. I won't say what the name is. It was Casa de something. Listen, I don't want to make a mistake on that. You'd have to read about this, do a search if you like. And I will put documents on the side on this video so you can see links. You can do a search for Wachovia Bank, Mad Cow, and there's a journalist who has done great work on this already. Thanks to him also for his work. This is journalists and auditors working together. The largest thievery in the history of the United States, and none of Wachovia's banks, not the largest thievery, the largest money laundering in the history of the United States, 1/3 equivalent of gross domestic product of Mexico. Also, a lot of money from Colombia going up through those channels. And no one caught it in the United States. Hundreds of bank examiners and auditors. We have our hands tied, and I have been knocked unconscious before. Wachovia Bank. Wachovia is gone and has been bought by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, I spoke with them about a job recently as primarily something in auditing or in marketing. I got this old picture here. This is the Wells Fargo Bank, I guess. They kind of use an emblem. And this dog's here name was Jack. It's ironic because this must have been Jack when he was young, because the Sheriff Jack Tillman I knew in Mobile, Alabama, was a food funds thief who I investigated for he was starving his inmates. Men were being starved while he stole money, and the government allowed it to happen. I reported it in 2001, and they did nothing until 2005. So this little guy, Jack, is a good doggy. He eats what he's told. He does not eat other people's food. Jack, Sheriff Jack Snatch, the fairy possum, Till Man. I'm hoping to get a job with Wells Fargo Bank, Mr. President. Mr. FDIC Board of Directors, Mr. Treasury Department, you blacklisted me from work, and yet the banks are going down and they're laundering money openly. Bye-bye. I hope I get a job at Wells Fargo Bank. Here's a picture of one of equivalent of what I see Jack Tillman's inmates is looking like. He's a little bit starved, he's a little bit tan, but he's still a man, baby. Snatch. Sheriff Jack Snatch the Fairy Possum. This is not the way to treat your fellow human being. Also, you would think that the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, my past employer in 1999 and 2000, would be able to detect that kind of money laundering in the United States. You would think it would be reports. It was like we were being strong-armed in the offices, and I sometimes wondered if international syndicates were coming in and forcing us to do what they told us to do while they ripped us off here in the United States. How can one bank launder all that money and get by with it for so long, and then nobody was prosecuted at Wachovia Bank? I was tortured for investigating the murder of an FDIC regional director, my past employer, because I believed in the goody two-shoes ethic, which meant you would think you were protected by government as if on a ship with other men, like I experienced in the U.S. Navy, where I handled firearms in defense of the ship in the event of hijacking and the attempted taking of the ship and the missiles we carried. They tortured me for doing this investigation on this murder at the FDIC. I'd also like to talk about Zhu and Zhu of the Bank of China and you. Why you? What's going on with that? I was almost hit by a bomb or a rocket or a falling aircraft in 2004, December 7th, in Braman, Oklahoma. The thing fell hundreds of yards off the road and it still blew dust onto my car, and I still felt the force, and I still think it might have been radioactive. That was late night, December 7th, 2004. Zhu and Zhu at Bank of China had been arrested in Oklahoma City and Wichita respectively. Allegedly arrested. Yu was an accomplice in Los Angeles who supposedly went back to China at this time, and Zhu were taken to court in Las Vegas. The FDIC, where were your bank examiners, Mr. FDIC Board of Directors? Why were they allowed to launder that kind of money? What other deals do you have going on? I want my job back at the FDIC, or I want a job at the Treasury, or I want a job at Wells Fargo. I need at least $100,000 to survive at this time. I would not mind just watching the headquarters and be able to troll around. I like to troll, Sweet Carol. Sweet Carol is the FDIC Board of Directors, or any boss they're in. I'm more familiar with them. We're on sweet terms. Also, I would like to meet this guy at Hermes Forensic Solutions in London. He's my hero, Martin Woods. Whippoorwill, you will be deal. Whippoorwill, you will be deal, and P.U. Jack. You can find that video if you like. It's a jokester. I have a lot of respect for the man. He actually lost his job like I did, but he lost his job for reporting things. I was just starting to investigate a murder on my own. Martin Woods, Hermes Forensic Solutions in London, England. Of course, the Treasury Department. Department of Treasury should have investigated this also. We also have bank examiners, the Department of Treasury and the FDIC, and neither one of them caught this thievery. I want a job at the Office of Control of the Currency. I'll be the head of that. I would not mind working there. I would want backup with technological surveillance of those around me. You are godless people up in there killing FDIC regional directors, federal banking frauds judge Thomas Crane Wells. I'd like to close with this song here. It's my favorite. It's called Rats Chasing Rats Down in the Coal Mine. I was the one who invented this song. I hope you like it. I'll play it on closing. Here we go. This concludes today's broadcast. I will also do music for you, and I also do sensual massage. You can find me at Cafe Moondove Man at numerous websites, or Cafe Floribama Love. It's all out there. But I really want a job, sweet Carol. As you can see, I'm getting kind of old. I know your game. You laundered much more money than you've ever laundered before. Banking fraud judges were killed. Federal banking regulators were killed. It's syndicated action. It's like the bonobo monkey came out and mankind started killing each other. Whatever happened to positive capitalism? This is Kurt Brown, alias St. Rambone, Mobile Audit Club. Google searches.